in order to make a catch in a crowd. So therefore, I've learned how to concentrate and pay attention. And so what I would like to say to you all, how honored I am to see you with such respect for your student body, for your staff and your teachers. I would like for you, if you would, to give yourselves a great big round of applause. Come on, give yourself. I'm not asking for applause from me or from anybody. Hey, is that the best you can do for yourself? I would like to, just for a few minutes, to address you in some of the areas that I feel that is important. But before I do that, here's two gentlemen over here today. They're on a live gospel internet radio, and they're streaming live on a radio that will go to 105 countries. And on video, they will be showing Hancock, the Central High School, junior high school and high school. You would be on an internet station that will go all over the world, okay? And so we will give to you the station that you can tune in on, because I felt that it was so important from some of the negativity that you all have gotten, and from what I've seen, you guys deserve better, and you will get better. All right? And that's why I want you today, if you would give me about 15 minutes of your time, because I want to share with you, and what I share all over the country, is some of the ingredients for success and how you can become a very successful person regardless of where you're from. Now I'm going to be open and honest and transparent with you today. When I was sitting down here next to the superintendent, my mind went back to my community of Scottsdale, right outside of Decatur in Atlanta, where I grew up. And there was a school called Hancock High School. And in 1969, they decided to come in and close our school, which was an all African-American school, and send us to 5 different high schools in the DeKalb County area, which was all Caucasian schools. And we protested, we marched, we was hurt, we cried, we did everything to try to get the county to keep our schools open. But it was too late. They made up their minds that that's what they were going to do, and they did it. And so therefore we had to go to 4 or 5 different schools in our areas, and no other athletes that went to Avondale High School wanted to play football or basketball or run track over at an all-Caucasian high school but me. And I went home and my mother said, "You're not going to quit. You're going to go over there. You're going to play. If you are the only one," meaning the only African American and the first one to integrate football in DeKalb County Avondale High School. But my mother said, "You are going to play, and you're going to be the best person that you can be, even though you are the one and only black athlete over at the school." Pay attention to me. Don't pay attention to any negativity. All right? But I went to that school in 1969, played there for 2 years. I was the one that would go to another school, and being the only African American on the team, they would call me all derogatory names. They would throw things on the field, and my teammates had to get around me and things of that nature. But my mother always told me this. She said, "It's not where you're from, but it's where you're going." Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody deter you from your dream. Young people, I'm here today to tell you that in 1969, when I went to Avondale High School, there was no black playing football, no black running track. And I played football in that first year at Avondale High School, being the only black and the only football became an All-State and an All-American in football. In track, I became an All-State and All-American in track. And then I went on to have over 200 scholarships to play football all over the country because I had a mother that wouldn't let me quit, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situation, regardless of me being called a name like the N-word that you all use so frequently against each other. They were calling me that when it wasn't even popular. When it was fights and riots broke out, they were calling me the N-word from across the track. But I had a mother that said, you're not going to quit. You're not going to stop. Look at Dr. King. Look at Ralph David Abernathy. Look at Harriet Tubman. Look at Booker T. Washington. Look at Denmark Vesey. Look at Phyllis Wheatley. They didn't quit, so you're not going to quit. So young people, I want to talk to you today about a will. W-H-E-E-L, a will. A wheel on a car makes the car turn. But I want to talk to you on the wheel of life. First of all, there's a spiritual will. In the Bible, in the first book of the Bible is called Genesis. That's the beginning. And in Genesis, you'll read a story about Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve was the first two people on the planet Earth. And then Adam and Eve had a mandate from God that they could eat of any tree in the field, but don't eat of the tree of good and evil. But then Eve decided to listen to the serpent. And the serpent told Eve, no, it's okay if you go and eat off that tree. But God had already told him, don't eat of the tree of good and evil. But Eve took the notion that she wanted to fool Adam, and Eve ate the forbidden fruit. So why are you telling me that? I'm telling you that because of this. If you are disconnected from the power source, and the power source is God, and apart from God, you can do nothing. And the Bible said, in Christ we live and move, and we have our being. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but the world through him might be saved. So what are you saying, brother? If you're not connected to the power source, which is the creator God of the universe, young people, you're not going to be able to make it spiritually. You're not going to be able to receive the benefits that come along with not only being a good person, but being a child that's connected to God. Are y'all all right? So number one is that you got to be spiritually connected. Number two, you got to be mentally connected. How do you become mentally connected? Well, in the Bible also, in the book of Ephesians chapter 6, there's a thing where it says, we wrestle not against each other. So let me tell you all something. Young people, when you're here in school and you're trying to fight against each other, you're trying to jump and bully somebody, that's not the way God created you. God created you to love one another. One thing that the black community has always had in common is loving one another. And see, Jesus said this, there's a new commandment that I give you, that you do what? Love one another, even as I have loved you. So young people, we got to get in the habit of loving one another. Dr. King, Rosa Parks, when they fought for civil rights for black people, when they couldn't sit on the bus, when they couldn't go to the line, go through a line at a counter for a restaurant, they fought for that for us. And so we got to be more respectful to each other and be more respectful to self. So the will is what? First of all, it's spiritual. We got to have a spiritual connection with God and with each other. And the reason that we are so miscombobulated in our communities, in our country, is because we are disconnected with God. And when you're disconnected with God, young people, you're disconnected to self, You're disconnected to each other, and you're disconnected to your community. The will, the third will is this. You got to be connected not only spiritually, mentally, you got to have your mind right. You got to have a positive mental attitude. When you get up in the morning, you got to think that you are the best. You're the best person. You don't think that no one else is less than you, but you can't think anybody else is better than you. You got to say, my mind is a pearl. I can do anything in the world. And you know what? Don't get caught up with the fads and everything, because the fads are in today and out tomorrow. You got to say it's not the clothes that make the person, it's the person that makes the clothes. The me I see is the me I'll be. If it's to be, it's up to me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can do anything in the world. So that's the way you got to think about yourself. Positive mental attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. How high I'm going, how far I go, I got to think like it. I got to think it in my mind. Let me tell you something, young people, and I love talking to you all. And I thank you so much for being so attentive. People always say, man, how do you go to a school in New York and those students sit there and pay attention? I said, young people can tell, and they have a real keen sense of knowledge when you care about them. When you go in with a sense of loving them. I love you all because guess what? I have 6 children. I have 9 grandchildren, and they look just like you. And you know what? I want when they go to school, when they go to a function, I want people to treat them the way that I have treated other people. And just like the old folks used to say, what goes around, what comes around. It's just like a boomerang effect. Oh, y'all can go ahead and clap for the old folks. Because see, one thing that I've got to say to you all, young people, don't throw the old people out with the bath. Okay? Because the older people is what taught us the principles and the values that it's going to take us to teach you. And those